Hi, boys and girls. So we are starting our first lesson on our geometry unit. So the first lesson is on triangles. And we've worked with triangles this year, but we're going to be identifying and being able to sketch right triangles, obtuse triangles, acute, and equilateral. But first, I wanted to do some quick review of those terms, right? So we have acute, right, and obtuse. So what makes an angle acute? Acute, they're super small, right? It means that it is less than 90 degrees. So if I drop an angle that is acute, it would look something like that, right? It's less than 90 degrees. A right angle, we know, is exactly 90 degrees, and it has that L shape, right? Straight up and down. So that would be an example of a right angle. It's exactly 90 degrees. And then obtuse is greater than 90 degrees. That's why we always are like obtuse. And it might look something like that. All right. So that's just some quick review that I wanted to show you before, because we're going to be hearing those terms a lot when we talk about triangles. So we're going to be able to identify what a right triangle looks like, what an obtuse triangle looks like, what an acute, and we've already gone over the term equilateral triangle. So let's do some review. Okay, so I'm going to move this up. Now, there's a fun tool here that you'll be able to have access to when you look at the slideshow on your own. This is a geoboard. So when you open it up, it'll take you to this where there's these fun rubber bands. You've played with these before, I'm sure. And you can try to make these types of triangles on your own geoboard. Okay? But we're going to go over each type of triangle right now. So an equilateral triangle. We have already learned what an equilateral triangle is. It's when it has all equal sides. And all the angles, too, are the same. Okay, so this is an example of an equilateral triangle. These tick marks show that all of these sides are the same length. Okay, the next one is an acute triangle. So in order for a triangle to be an acute triangle, all the angles on the triangle have to be smaller than a right angle. So they all have to have angles less than 90 degrees in order for it to be considered an acute triangle. So this would be an example of an acute triangle, because if you were to measure, all of these angles are less than 90 degrees. They're all acute. The next one is an obtuse triangle. So in order to be an obtuse triangle, this is important. Not all the angles are going to be obtuse. It only needs one big, large angle that is larger than 90 degrees to be an obtuse triangle. So you might see a triangle that looks like this. Oh, sorry, my cursor went up. Okay, go down now. You might see a triangle that looks like that. So it has one really, really big obtuse angle. So it's gonna come back up, but this one right here. And then these two angles would actually be acute, but it's obtuse because it has one angle that is larger than 90 degrees. And then we have our right angle that we have worked with a lot this year. So a right triangle will have one right angle that's 90 degrees. So we've seen a lot like this. And when we see that box here, that already tells us it's a right triangle, but that will not always be on every single triangle when you're doing a sort. So just be careful and just know that when you see that perfect L, it's a perfect 90 degrees, that it has to be a right triangle. Okay? All right, let's move on. So I'm going to do a sort in front of you, modeling. And then you are going to get a chance to do the next slide on your own on Google Classroom. So I have some triangles here that fit into all of these categories: acute, right, equilateral, and obtuse. So let's look at this one right here. So if I look at all of these angles, this one's less than 90, right? It's not straight up and down. This one's less than 90. and this one is also less than 90. This has to be, oop, I forgot. I have to get out of the present mode. This one has to be an acute. All of them are less than 90 degrees. Okay. Then if I look at this one, well, right away I see that box there, so that's a giveaway, but I also notice that it is a perfect right angle, so it has to be a right triangle. This one right here, if I look at it, this one would easily trick you because it's flipped the other way. This has a perfect right angle. Okay, this is a 90-degree angle, perfect. So this has to be a right triangle, even though it doesn't have that box. Um, this one right here, I'm noticing that big angle right here. This is definitely greater than 90 degrees. And remember, we only need one obtuse angle to make it an obtuse triangle. Let's look at this little one right here. So all of the angles here are less than 90 degrees. They're super small. So this is an acute. And this last one right here, all of the sides are the exact same length, and it looks like all of the angles are also. So this has to be an equilateral triangle. Okay? So your job, you have 10 of them to sort on this next slide. So your job will be to put these pictures into the correct category. And then once you finish that sort, so you have 2 activities today. Once you finish that sort, you need to do your IXL X1, and it is all about acute, obtuse, and right triangles. So both of those assignments need to be turned in for today's math assignment. This slide and slide 5. So this will be posted on Google Classroom and your IXL skill. The link is in the slide. All right. Well, we will see you later.